Alright, you and I are about to see something wild. Our MC says thanks, and the gods just dump a mountain of blessings on him. The absolute strongest person in this world has stats capped at 5. But our guy? Totally absurd. Not only are his stats completely maxed, he is backed by 7 different gods. His first reaction after reincarnating? He checks his body to make sure everything is intact. After all, he is a toddler now. But this move makes the maid both excited and panicked. Thinking he wet himself, she completely yanks his pants off, because wet clothes mean bath time. Faced with the maid's wild ambush, our MC is completely caught off guard. Luckily, the awkwardness does not last. Turns out, he reincarnated into a noble family, and his dad is insanely lucky. Not only does he have 2 wives, but our MC also has 2 older brothers, which basically means he is completely out of the running for family heir. He does not care, though. He is way more focused on the fact that magic exists here. After 2.5 weeks of studying, he can finally read this world's language. Next up, trying out some actual magic. And wouldn't you know it, he completely nails it on his very first try. Remember how his mom said magic takes years to learn? Yeah, that got debunked real quick. He decides to give it another shot. This time, he tries holding back. Getting caught would not be great, but surprise! The casual fireball erupts into massive twin pillars of flame. It is completely out of his control. Panicking, he blasts it out the window. But the explosion is so huge, the maid definitely hears it. Thankfully, this maid is not the sharpest tool. A few quick lies and she is totally fooled. His sister, though, not so easy. She catches on. Since he studied this magic book before, our MC instantly freezes in pure panic. Busted. Luckily, his sister is a bit of an airhead too. Time flies by, and suddenly, our boy is 5 years old. Today is the day of his baptism. Once he passes this, he can finally use magic out in the open. The baptism basically means praying to the gods for their blessings. To make it super easy to understand, his sister instantly pulls up her own status panel. And oh boy, taking a look at this, the first few stats seem totally normal. But then he notices her title loves Cain the most. Wait a minute. His sister has a massive brother complex. Soon enough, the crew arrives at Marineford. Anyone else would think he is about to fight the Navy admirals. Anyway, a high-ranking bishop is running the baptism. Turns out, it is like a coming-of-age ceremony. He just has to thank the gods for surviving to age 5. A standard procedure for anyone else, but for him, nothing is normal. As soon as the bishop finishes chanting, he hears someone giggling. A massive flash of light hits, and boom, he is literally teleported to the divine realm. 7 gods are staring right at him. He completely freaks out. Since when does a baptism include a trip to heaven? The old guy in the center, the creator god. Beside him is the god of reincarnation, who drops a massive truth bomb. His past life death was not supposed to happen. That whole heroic sacrifice he made? Completely pointless. According to fate, the attacker was going to trip and get pinned down by the crowd anyway, meaning he died for absolutely nothing. And here he thought he was being incredibly brave. To find out it was all a mistake? Brutal. On top of that, because the attacker killed him, the charge got upgraded to actual murder. What a joke. Still, since he died trying to do good, Earth's gods asked them a favor. That is why he got reincarnated here. Usually, an adult's mind cannot handle living as a baby. So the gods locked his memories away. But surprisingly, right at age 2, the seal accidentally broke. But honestly, he is just super grateful. Keeping his past life memories is the exact reason he learned this world's language so fast. The 7 gods see how chill this kid is, and absolute chaos breaks out. All 7 deities start fighting to make him their godson. They start showering him with an insane amount of crazy blessings, each unlocking a completely different power. But time is up. They do not even explain what the skills do. The creator god just laughs as our guy is zapped right back to the church. The statue's light fades, leaving his dad extremely curious. Just how overpowered is his son? Well, not even our MC knows yet. Faking a stomachache, he runs outside. We are about to find out just how broken he is. Opening his status panel. Every single stat is completely maxed out at level 10. Alright, you and I are diving into something completely wild. Our guy is totally stressing out over his insanely broken stats. See, the absolute max stat in this world is only 5. Our boy was terrified of getting exposed. Then, the god of creation sends a message. He totally forgot to mention creation magic can actually edit stats. Guess the old guy wasn't useless after all. So, our main character immediately alters his ridiculously overpowered numbers. A quick flash of light, and he's right back at the table. It's time to celebrate his 5th birthday. His family threw a massive banquet. Still, his dad was super worried about his divine protections. Our guy casually summons his status plate, but despite all his careful editing, he missed one tiny detail. Besides having 7 literal gods protecting him, his mana is off the charts, basically a walking mana fountain. Think about it, the absolute strongest mage in this world only has about 10,000 mana. But our 5-year-old MC? He's rocking 30,000. A number like that puts a massive target on his back. To protect him, his dad strictly orders everyone in the room, keep your mouth shut about what you just saw. After all that drama, our MC sneaks back to his room. He still doesn't know what normal stats look like, but this summoning magic book catches his eye. I mean, if he could just summon a fluffy little pet, building an isekai harem would be a total breeze. Excited, he literally rushes outside to try it. He casts his very first summon, but things go horribly wrong. He instantly summons a terrifying, giant minotaur. And the worst part? It doesn't have a single drop of fur. So much for a cute, fluffy pet. Just then, his sister and a beast girl stroll by. No time to think, he steps right in front of them. The danger instantly triggers memories of his past life. But right now, he has zero time to panic. With absolutely zero combat training, he charges. Before he can even land a hit, the beast snatches him up. His sister's desperate scream snaps him out of it. Alright, time to unleash his absolute maximum mana. In the blink of an eye, the giant minotaur is completely obliterated. But with all that mana suddenly drained, our MC collapses straight to the ground. The girls rush over, just as his vision starts to completely fade. But right before he passes out, a pair of perfectly fluffy animal ears right in his face. Honestly, he technically got his fluffy encounter after all. You'd think a reckless stunt like that would leave him severely injured. But nope. Our boy wakes up without a single scratch. All thanks to those 7 divine god protections. His dad, terrified his son will become a national threat, makes a strict ruling. He's grounded until adulthood. Confined to the estate, his dad hires 2 elite tutors. But our MC, he just can't hold his power back. One tiny slip-up, and boom, he literally crashes down from the sky. Absolutely insane entrance. Later, everyone gathers inside. The redhead introduces himself as Jimmy. And the green-haired girl? That's Tammy. They're here to teach him swordsmanship and magic. Stick with me here, because this is where the kid flexes hard. He casually runs through some basic warm-up swings. Jimmy's jaw literally hits the floor. Taime even jokes that his sword skills are worse than a 5-year-old's. But the prideful Jimmy refuses to accept that. He challenges our young MC to a quick sparring match. Bad idea. The second their wooden swords clash, Jimmy is instantly crushed by this overwhelming, suffocating pressure. He starts sweating bullets. Is this monster really only 5 years old? The gap in power is just hilarious. Neither tutor can stay calm now. It's totally obvious he has the martial god's blessing, completely outclassing his teacher. He's already at a peak Jimmy could never reach. Realizing this, the poor guy instantly quits the match. Jimmy totally gives up and tosses him over to Taime for magic training. She cheerfully agrees to step up. After all, she has the magic god's blessing. Plus, she's already reached a super impressive level 3. She decides to start with basic spells, but our MC just casually mentions he already learned them from books. Before she can even react, bam! Water magic on the right, fire on the left, and earth magic perfectly balanced in between. Taime's brain short-circuits. He's casting completely chantless magic. And wait, he can use literally every single element. She is beyond horrified by this flex. You and I both know, not even elite royal mages can use all attributes. Combine that with this insane raw power, he definitely has the magic god's blessing too. Now, look at Jimmy. Alright, check this out. Our 2 girls already figured they had absolutely nothing left to teach him. He hands over a totally normal handkerchief. But that dimensional item box in his hand, it literally leaves Jeannie and Taime absolutely speechless. That kind of storage magic? Insane. Even top-tier royal mages don't just carry those around. And since his magic output is way too massive, the mansion grounds just can't handle his practice anymore. Hearing this, our boy is thrilled. He's literally never left home, so he begs the girls to show him the outside world. Next stop is Dad's office. Dad is 1000% against it, but the girls make a solid point. If he keeps training here, the whole estate is probably going to get blown to pieces. Left with 0 options, Dad finally caves. One strict rule though, he has to be back before sunset, and just like that, they head outdoors. It's his very first time seeing the real world since reincarnating. They eventually find a nice open clearing. Ginny plays it smart this time around. She makes Taime demonstrate a spell first, and Taime totally agrees. She tells our guy to just casually toss out a spell at that rock over there. But yeah, things go sideways fast. His idea of a casual spell is actually ultimate tier magic. He never dared try this at home. Just the shockwave alone, blasts Ginny and Taime straight into the trees. When they finally look up, they are absolutely stunned. A massive smoking crater right in front of them. That is way beyond ultimate tier. Taime is honestly just used to it by now. But Ginny is super curious about one thing. Dropping an attack that huge should have completely drained his mana, right? Nope. He isn't tired at all. The guy looks totally ready to run a marathon. Basically, his mana pool is completely bottomless. Right then, something rustles in the tall grass nearby. The girls instantly tense up, ready for battle. Turns out, just an adorable little bunny. They decide this is the perfect hunting lesson. Except, Ginny's attack completely misses the target, and now the bunny is furious. It turns around and lunges right at our boy. He just casually drops a quick spell. Boom, the rabbit drops instantly. Seriously, it looks like a sci-fi movie scene. Then he pulls out his item box, tossing his catch right inside. It is his very first monster hunt. After all, totally worth saving as a trophy. Ginny is still absolutely obsessed with that storage item. She actually wants to save up and buy one for herself. Since there is still plenty of daylight, they decide to teach him some basic monster tracking. Taime starts chanting her spell. It acts like a giant magic radar, scanning the area 300 kilometers out. She picks up 3 monsters total. Now it's his turn to try. All he has to do is spread his mana outward. Simple enough. He closes his eyes and whispers a command to locate any nearby level 5 hostiles. But get this, his results are totally different from hers. He's actually picking up 4 monsters instead of 3. Not only that, he knows their exact species too. Right after that, he charges straight for those cute little rabbits. With all 3 of them working together, the fight is over in 2 minutes flat. But one sneaky bunny manages to slip right through their fingers. Just as he gets ready to chase it down, the girls immediately stop him. That deep forest is full of nightmare beasts that attack the town every 10 years. That massive outer wall, built specifically to keep those things out. Hearing all this just makes our guy even more excited. I know, right? So with Ginny and Taime leading the way, he finally gets to officially play the adventurer role. The guild receptionist is an adorable, fluffy beast girl. And yeah, he is completely mesmerized by her. But of course, some arrogant street punk decides to walk over and start causing trouble. He's ranked 1 level higher than the girls, so he tries to drag them away for a fun time. His lackeys totally back him up. At that exact crucial moment, our hero steps right in the middle of it. The punk absolutely loses his temper. How dare some random kid disrespect a mighty C-rank adventurer like him? This guild is his turf. He grabs an arrow off a nearby table to attack. But honestly, he's just handing our boy another chance to flex. No matter how fast this thug tries to strike, he effortlessly dodges every single move like it's nothing. The whole pathetic fight lasts barely 2 seconds before he catches the blade between 2 fingers. He channels a burst of magic, and in a flash, the punk gets hurled completely out the door. His sidekicks try grabbing Ginny as a hostage. Big mistake. You can guess what happened, they get tossed out too. After pulling a stunt like that, Ginny and Taime are completely swooning. So much for them supposedly protecting him, right? Alright, you and I are diving back in. It was the exact opposite. Ginny praised him for hiding insane skills beyond just magic. Turns out, his hand-to-hand combat is amazing too. And from then on, they became way more than just regular training buddies. Time completely flew by. 2.5 years passed in a flash. And tomorrow, it is finally time for them to part ways. To thank the girls for keeping him company all this time, he decides to get Ginny and Taime a little parting gift. Remembering Ginny always wanted a magic bag, he sneaks out right in the dead of night. He heads straight to the monster forest. Making this item actually requires materials from an ogre and an earth dragon. But the local soldiers, they think it is a full-blown monster invasion and immediately ring the warning bells. While everyone prays for their lives, his dad leads the troops out at full speed. Meanwhile, our boy just finished gathering his monster loot and heads home. When his dad arrives, all he finds is a massive crater. And sitting inside that crater is a handkerchief with their family crest. The next day, he brings the finished bags to the girls. When they finally figure out what materials he actually used, they completely lose their minds. Because get this, even the strongest adventurer parties barely survive against earth dragons. Yet our guy literally soloed them at just 8 years old. But wait, it gets even crazier. The girls realize this epic magic bag can actually fit an entire mansion inside. Ginny's entire reality just shatters. She only wanted a normal bag that could maybe hold a single carriage. And normally, buying something like that would take half a lifetime of saving up gold coins. Hearing them totally freak out, our guy instantly realizes he might have gone a little overboard. Walking around with a national treasure is basically asking to get robbed. But luckily, he programmed it so that if anyone besides them tries to steal the bag, they will feel the crushing weight of everything inside. Now that is what I call ultimate security. Honestly, calling this thing just a national treasure feels like an insult. The girls know this gift is way too priceless. And hey, even though they kept things completely innocent for 3 whole years, a parting kiss right here is absolutely mandatory. See you later, buddy. Just like that, a new chapter begins, and our overpowered kid is about to level up his life again. Now, you and I are fast forwarding to his 10th birthday. His dad decides to take him to the royal capital to show off. After all, this tiny town just cannot contain his insane potential anymore. But since the journey is super long, his dad is understandably stressed about wild monsters appearing. But with our kid around, that worry is a total joke. Because right now, he has already mastered earth magic to an absolute god tier. Plus, remember when he was 8? He straight up mistook a giant dragon for a weird lizard and literally blasted it to dust with a random spell. And the wildest part? That one casual attack sent his level skyrocketing all the way to level 200. His mana capacity hit 80 million, and he even scored a sweet Dragon Slayer title. Yeah, he is ridiculously overpowered, but just to keep his old man from stressing out, he stays on high alert. Good thing he did, because suddenly, in a split second, he senses a violent battle breaking out exactly 3 kilometers away. 10 humans are getting ambushed by monsters. His dad's horses are way too slow, and at this pace, those people are definitely going to be monster food. So, our boy gives his dad a quick heads up and rushes ahead. He zooms off in a flash. Meanwhile, massive beasts are absolutely crushing the royal guards. Just as the monsters close in on the carriage, boom, he lands like a superhero. The guards think he is just a kid, but nope. Not a single monster can survive even one hit from him. Clearly, this kid is built totally different. 3 more monsters are dead set on attacking the carriage. Magic might hit the guards, so he switches to close combat mode. He effortlessly speed blitzes 2 of them in melee. The boss monster tries to put up a fight, but he is not having it. With one brutal strike, he literally deletes the boss from existence. Watching this pure madness, the knight captain totally panics and blocks him from the carriage. But our guy just takes a knee and reveals his identity. He casually announces he is the border count's son. Then, without missing a beat, he drops a massive spell to heal the wounded guards. By the time the dust settles, his dad finally catches up. The captain instantly recognizes the famous count. At the exact same time, his dad spots the royal crest on the carriage. He knows exactly who is inside. Sitting right inside are the kingdom's princess and a duke's daughter. Thankfully, neither of them got a single scratch. Still, you and I know these pampered royals are totally traumatized by the ambush. Good thing our overpowered hero showed up. But hey, our main character has that plot armor. Casting a simple calming magic, absolute child's play for him. But the moment the spell drops, things get wild. Both girls suddenly feel light as a feather. And that's not all. Their energy levels instantly max out, completely curing any fatigue. It's actually hilarious. Wait, what is going on? That spell definitely had some kind of secret buff mixed in. Now they just want to get dangerously close to our boy. Before he can even process it, they literally drag him straight into their carriage. Seeing his son getting whisked away for some intense private training, his dad just stands there, completely frozen and utterly clueless. Even when the carriage totally vanishes, the guy is still standing there. Seriously, are we sure he's his biological dad? Inside the ride, our MC is sweating bullets, but the girls are loving it. Since the royal capital is still a long trip away, they decide to hit up a hotel to really have some fun. In town, our boy tries to escape, but yeah, zero chance of that happening. The girls completely lock him down. Calling his dad wouldn't do a thing anyway. One of their dads is literally the king. The other is a massive duke. Plus, what if monsters attack at night? His dad offers to send a ton of royal guards. Bad move. The princess firmly believes our MC is the strongest protector alive. Her dad literally can't even argue with that logic. I mean, she's not wrong. So, with the king's own blessing, they all end up checking into the exact same giant room. Oh, they don't waste any time. The girls instantly shove all the beds together. Our boy panics, but then they pull out an Oscar-winning performance. They start sobbing. We're just so scared. Please, you have to stay close and protect us from the scary monsters. If we're left all alone, we might not make it through the night. Pure manipulation, honestly. Just lie down right here with us. Boom, he's totally trapped. Fast forward. The vice captain of the Knights welcomes them back, endlessly thanking our guy for escorting the girls. But before he finishes, our MC tries to sneak off. Nope, the captain grabs him by the shoulder. Turns out, the king himself wants a word. Hearing that, our boy's soul practically leaves his body. But you can't exactly say no to the monarch. So, he heads into the royal throne room all alone. The second the king spots him, he gets way too excited. He almost hits him with a wildly inappropriate hero title. But for the plot's sake, the king just promotes him to duke and throws in a massive mansion. A little kid becoming a duke in this kingdom? Absolutely completely unheard of. Some noble completely loses his mind objecting, but the king's mind is made up. After all, beating 50 orcs barehanded, that's literal legend status. Hearing those crazy stats, the noble shuts his mouth real quick. All right, you and I are approaching the wild finale. Our MC gets called into the king's private office. The king starts off thanking him just as a dad. Wholesome, right? But then the vibe completely flips. Bam! A royal marriage proposal. The girls totally masterminded this whole trap. Thankfully, the actual wedding waits until they're adults. For now, he's just forcefully engaged. But why the buy one get one free fiancé deal? Let's rewind the clock 2 hours. The king and his ministers had a chat. The original plan? Give the kid a title, some gold, and send him packing. But when he asked the girls, they both screamed out that they wanted to marry him, and literally almost threw hands over it. The king was absolutely terrified of them. So, after a massive headache, he just decided to marry both girls to our guy, giving him that giant mansion? Just a bribe to lock him down in the capital. Because to the king, our boy is a once-in-a-lifetime overpowered asset. The MC desperately tries to ask his own dad for help, but his dad completely ignores him. The result? Our guy is hopelessly locked into this double engagement. Cut to later that day. 7 literal gods summon our MC. Sure, his experience levels are a bit behind normal humans, but with his raw power, he's basically demigod material anyway. So, with a little godly pushing and shoving, the creator god officially upgrades him to a demigod, but this crazy cheat isn't free. The old god needs a huge favor. He begs for some entertaining board games. Our boy is thrilled. Being reincarnated from modern times, this is his specialty. Heading back, he storms right into an item shop and asks the owner to craft an Othello board. After explaining the rules, the shopkeeper realizes this game will absolutely take over the world, but there's just one massive problem standing in the way. He's completely broke. Hearing that, our guy doesn't hesitate and slams down a solid gold coin. Seeing that gold, the owner starts sweating. It's way too much money. But our MC is completely loaded right now. He tells him to keep the change as an early business investment. Business handled. Our boy strolls right out of the shop, but right at that moment, his terrifying sister is glaring at him outside. He totally forgot they were supposed to be shopping. Sure, he ditched his big sister earlier, but you and I know our guy is a professional smooth talker. Just a few words. He has her completely lost in the sauce. Instead of getting mad, she actually treats him to a full-on fashion show. Fast forward, the prop shop owner finishes the reversey board prototype. Our MC takes one look and loves it. He demonstrates how to play, and the owner instantly spots a gold mine, begging him for mass production. The owner wants exclusive distribution rights. They strike a deal right there, but with one major condition. Our MC wants 2 versions, premium for nobles, standard for commoners. That way, everyone gets to play. He orders 50 noble sets and 1,000 standard ones. Hearing those numbers, the owner's head starts spinning. Why? Because he doesn't have the startup capital. But just as he starts doing the math, bam, MC slams the table. He drops 5 solid gold coins. The poor owner nearly has a heart attack. He's never seen that much cash. Swearing his absolute loyalty, the owner gets to work. Next step, securing a patent from the god of commerce. Offer the product to the divine, and boom, 3 years of absolute anti-piracy protection. Together, they chant the spell. A blinding flash of light, and the board teleports straight to the gods. Then, our MC makes one last request. He needs an ultra-deluxe reversey set to gift directly to the king. The moment the owner hears royal family, he completely loses his mind. Just who exactly is this kid? Anyway, fast forward 2.5 days. Now, here's where things get spicy. It's the king's official noble gathering, and right here, our MC bumps into the heiress, purple hair, and her dad. And let me tell you, her father is glaring daggers with pure murderous intent. I mean, the MC basically kidnapped his underage daughter. But seeing how gorgeous our main character couldn't help but activate his ultimate playboy mode, dropping the smoothest, most unexpected pickup lines. He laid it on thick, acting like her scolding would literally kill him. Simply arriving at this place, absolute perfection. Her father was absolutely speechless. Our guy was young, sure, but his flirting skills, maxed out. His own dad just laughed awkwardly and dragged him away before things got any weirder. They headed to greet the king, but taking one look at the princess, trouble. His playboy mode fired right back up. He called her a literal goddess who made him forget how to breathe. Smooth, right? The princess completely froze. Even the king was dumbfounded, wondering exactly what this kid was fed to spout nonsense with a straight face. To avoid getting totally wrecked by the king, he quickly pulled out a custom board game. That barely saved his life. His dad was genuinely shocked by this little entertainment trick. After all, at his age, kids his age should just be having fun. That actually hit our guy right in the feels, making him realize he missed out. Other kids were literally playing in the dirt while he was already a baron, but suddenly, the noble girl appeared out of thin air. With adults around, she was shy, and the princess was busy, so she snuck over to find our guy. Sure, that was her excuse, but she definitely had some secret motives. She just wanted some alone time with him. But right at that critical moment, 3 annoying brats marched over. The red-haired kid was totally gunning for her. He probably practiced 1,000 pickup lines. She just gave him a flat nod and ignored him. Rejected. Furious, these little punks turned their anger toward our boy. He tried to mention he was a baron's son, but they cut him right off. To them, that was absolute trash. This redhead was a viscount's kid. Trying to flex in front of his crush, he straight up challenged our hero to a duel. Once they stepped outside, the girl struck first, instantly unleashing an absolute wave of divine love magic. It was so sweet, it made you sick. The redhead completely exploded with rage, signaling his 2 talented henchmen. Both of them actually had divine protection, meaning their magic was seriously powerful. Things were about to get wild. You and I are about to watch him teach our MC magic. Expecting an epic move? The result is pure embarrassment. The dude literally forgot how to cast his spell. Luckily, our MC doesn't even care, giving this clown time to cram. He raises his hands high, desperately chanting his spell out loud. Come on, just cast the spell. Get it over with. Hilarious. All that flashy buildup just to look completely stupid. Our MC casually sidesteps the attack. The blonde guy loses his mind, expecting his earth magic to do real damage. This earth magic user is insanely talented. His spells are actually twice as strong as fire magic. He starts chanting some weird incantation. Red and yellow hair totally mastered this earth technique. Not gonna lie, I wish I never saw this curse pose. Seriously, what kind of normal person casts magic like this? Anyway, after his weirdly seductive dance finally ends, dark clouds instantly swallow the sky. A massive crack of lightning flashes. Then a boulder with double the destructive power drops. It blasts right out of his hands. The sheer pressure leaves our guy totally speechless. But these 2 idiots still are not done. Purple Hair has officially had enough. She steps up and drops a massive truth bomb. Our main character? He is actually a baron. That title changes everything. It is a completely different world of power. And get this, there is more. He soloed nearly 50 orcs all by himself. Hearing this, the 3 fools finally remember the rumors about some overpowered kid getting promoted. They finally realize it is him. The trio panic, scream out an apology, and sprint away as fast as they can. Purple Hair does not know whether to laugh or cry. Obviously, our guy knew they misunderstood from the very start. But he just played along for fun. She calls him a total sadist and threatens to snitch to the princess, unless he agrees to go on a date with her. But right on cue, the princess accidentally overhears the whole thing. She tries to explain, but he violently slaps his hand over her mouth. The princess is completely stunned by this. Touching an unmarried girl's lips, yeah, that is straight to jail in this world. The princess immediately uses this to blackmail them. She demands to know exactly what just happened. Well, so much for keeping that secret date a total mystery. After hearing the truth, the princess feels totally left out. It turns out she has a soft spot for him too. What was that pathetic little trick? Seriously, good grief. Facing this cute princess, our MC agrees to a date. But that simple, yes, it completely ruins everything. The king just happens to stroll by, overhearing their entire conversation about the date. The overprotective king absolutely flips. Nobody takes his precious daughter out without facing his royal wrath first. Wait until you and I see the house. He casually decorated it with dozens of terrifying monster corpses. These are disaster-level wyverns. The visiting father is instantly scared half to death. Taking down one wyvern requires 30 adventurers, and they all must be earth rank or higher. Sure, decorating your mansion with high-end luxury items is normal, but nobody flexes quite as hard as our main character. The dad realizes that wyvern is worth 10 billion. Man, this unintentional flexing is absolutely lethal. The funniest part? Our MC didn't even know wyverns were that strong. He just casually swatted it down with one hit. But hey, a wyvern statue at the front door definitely beats cheap decor. Suddenly, a piercing scream echoes through the mansion. They rush over, finding his sister and mom completely fascinated by a toilet. Trust me, this thing is insane. It doesn't just have a massage function, it even sprays warm water. The refreshing feeling is out of this world. They're absolutely addicted. The dad thinks they're making a fuss over nothing. I mean, it's just a toilet, right? But unexpectedly, the next second, ha ha ha, he's completely blown away. Then the father tells our MC, all right, you and I know the rules. You get a massive noble mansion, you throw an epic housewarming party. Our MC is completely caught off guard, but he follows his dad's orders and asks the new butler to write up the invites. And get this, the butler's name is literally Conan. He originally wanted to invite the king, but Conan steps in only counts or higher can host royalty. For a lower noble like our guy, sending an invite is basically an insult, so he gives up. But plot twist, the king suddenly summons him to the palace, glaring at him like absolute trash. Our MC is sweating bullets. But then the king drops the real reason for the death stare. He is furious he didn't get an invite. Keep in mind, the king literally gave him that mansion. The king claimed it was a reward for his skills. But yeah, that was a total lie. He just wanted a convenient spot for his daughters to, start a family with him. And our MC's first move? Hiring some incredibly flashy maids to fill up the place instead. Seeing the duke next to him flexing an invitation just makes the king lose his mind completely. He starts throwing a hilarious tantrum about missing out on the fun. Absolute comedy gold. Alright, you and I are diving right back into the madness. Bloodlines are boiling, and the fierce daughter rivalry is officially on. Maybe the duke's daughter is just that appealing. Luckily, our main character prepared in advance, securing an exclusive invitation for the king himself. Delivering it personally is always best, so he used his packed official schedule as the perfect excuse for his delay. A total bluff, obviously. But the king bought it completely and eagerly snatched up that invitation. Then he immediately started flexing on the duke. His daughter is the main wife, after all. Absolutely hilarious. But when the maids found out His Majesty was coming, total mental shutdown. Just what kind of insane status can actually summon a king? Once they learned the princess was his fiancée, their entire worldview basically shattered. Luckily, the head maid is totally unfazed. With a little comfort, she quickly pulled everyone back to reality. Night falls, and our main character's massive debut party kicks off. His dad is stuck outside on greeting duty, because that little wyvern at the door is genuinely terrifying. The duke arrives first, bringing his precious daughter, Purple Hair. Everyone heard the wyvern was legendary, but seeing it up close, pure nightmare fuel. Yet her reaction is completely unexpected. She actually smiled. This is going to be her future home, after all. Soon, the hall is packed with guests. Our hero raises his glass, substituting wine with tea, and officially starts the event. And oh boy, what an opening. The crowd instantly blew screens. They have never tasted a beverage this incredible in their entire lives. Bubbles hitting their tongues, exactly like popping candy. Turns out he literally used magic to carbonate the water, and right on cue, the king arrives with the first wife in tow. This absolute alpha entrance instantly maxes out the prestige level. But the moment His Majesty sees the crystal glasses, the elegance completely conquers him. He takes one sip of sparkling water. Boom, he feels 18 years younger. Then he takes his very first bite of that otherworld fried chicken. He completely surrenders to the flavor, losing every ounce of royal dignity. The queen just stepped into a whole new world, too, because after trying his magical bathroom bidet, that hot and cold sensation is absolutely addictive. You cannot make this stuff up. The skeptical king insists on trying it himself. One quick trip later, and yep, looks like we have another addict. Long story short, the royal family loves the toilet. He straight up orders our guy to start a kingdom-wide bathroom revolution. The final royal verdict? 5 stars. Not just mind-blowing food, but the post-meal full service was flawlessly executed. Hearing this massive praise, every guest in the room gives a standing ovation. But then trouble arrives. The butler reports an absolute clown at the door. It is Red Hair's dad. The Marquis glares with pure disgust, calling the estate a literal dog kennel. Without even waiting for an invite, he just arrogantly struts right inside. The butler tries to warn him about the dragon. Our guy stops him immediately. The result? Completely predictable. The Marquis is instantly terrified out of his mind. But the second he catches his breath, the arrogant sneer comes right back. He genuinely believes that a kid with this status could only invite absolute nobodies to his little party. So he goes full villain mode, mocking everyone in the room as total trash. But he missed one tiny, crucial detail. The king is sitting right there. The Marquis freezes, turning pale, instantly dropping the tough guy act like an obedient dog. After a brutal royal scolding, he literally crawls out on his knees. Our hero's brilliant behind-the-scenes manipulation does not go unnoticed by Purple Hair. She realizes he planned this entire trap to publicly ruin the guy. The craziest part? He did not even warn the king beforehand. Absolutely diabolical. Now, you and I know the truth. At only 10 years old, he already packs demigod-level power. And right when he goes to process the monsters he casually wiped out, things get wild. Because the threat levels on these beasts are all A or S rank. Taiku is paralyzed with absolute shock. Obviously, with this kind of insane strength, he is far beyond human. Taiku is convinced he is a literal apostle of the gods. Hearing this, his eyes shift. Without missing a single beat, he fiercely claims he is just a totally normal kid. But those dodging eyes scream guilty. Taiku senses a massive secret. And just as our overpowered hero tries to walk away, Taiku grabs him. Since he is this ridiculously strong, he begs him to train their entire night order. And meet the commander while he is at it. Completely helpless against the begging, he agrees. So after some serious hyping up, he gets praised to absolute legendary heights. And yeah, it is totally true. But the crowd of knights could not care less about a 10-year-old brat. One giant musclehead even steps up to complain, saying he refuses to bully a child. We all know how this goes. The vice commander instantly steps up and wrecks the loudmouth. Now, pay attention. Cut to the training ground. This massive guy steps up, planning a one-hit knockout. His confidence is off the charts right now, but the regret is going to hit so incredibly hard. Boom. One single move and the big guy is floored. The MC tries sneaking away, but gets caught. Now they want him to train the entire night order. But just as the knights get hyped up, the commander drops out of the literal sky, stopping everything. This guy has zero clue what's happening. He actually treats our MC like a lost little kid. Before things escalate, someone finally explains the situation. They were just sparring. And oh yeah, the MC is a literal monster who crushed 30 orcs bare-handed. Plus, he saved 2 princesses without taking a single scratch. The commander completely freezes on the spot, but only for about 2 seconds. You and I know what's next. He wants to fight our guy. Alright, you and I are about to see something wild. This commander? Total battle maniac. Her massive sword swings before he can even blink. She is testing him with every strike. Seeing she cannot gain the upper hand, she instantly activates a massive body buff. Without missing a beat, she rushes him again. Sword aura flies everywhere. These two are locked in a wildly intense dance. Neither is backing down. Remember, she literally holds the title of Sword Saint. Yet, he is matching her, blow for blow. And get this, he is only using a wooden sword. No matter her skill, she cannot top a guy with 7 divine blessings. She is completely outmatched. With one swift kick, he knocks her back. Honestly, our main character is losing his patience. He casually triggers his thought acceleration skill. In a fraction of a second, he teleports right behind her. Before she can even process it, that wooden blade is resting against her neck. Boom. Game over. He declares victory. But here's where you and I get a massive plot twist. His insane strength just made her fall madly in love. She literally demands to have his babies right on the spot. The whole night order freezes in shock, and our guy, terrified. I mean, he is only 10 years old. He does not even know her measurements. The poor kid is completely speechless. She introduces herself as Greenie. Not only does she have a perfect figure, but she is also a noble duke's daughter. Looking at her, it is obvious she is an elf. Elves can live for 300 years, so by their specific age scaling, her actual age is technically younger than his. Hearing this completely shatters his reality. He is scared out of his mind. But wait, even if she proposes now, her dad will not approve, right? Well, Greenie already has that perfectly figured out. She actually ran away from home just to find a husband. And if she does not find the absolute perfect match, she refuses to ever go back. He is totally cornered here. Our guy actually considers dropping a huge secret, telling her he already has 2 fiancées. But then he remembers he promised the king that was strictly off limits. Desperate, he looks to his buddy Taiku for help, but the coward is literally playing dead. After a moment of pure panic, Greenie finally calms down. She admits deciding this alone is not proper. Marriage is a massive deal, not some silly game. Just as he thinks she is being reasonable, things get awkward fast. She immediately calls out to the guy playing dead, Taiku. She demands an audience with the king right this second. Stick with me before our boy can even process what is happening. He was already getting dragged away by the green-haired girl. Once they met the king, she didn't waste a single second. She just straight up dropped the bomb. She wanted to marry our boy. The king completely lost his mind, demanding a full explanation from start to finish. And when our guy finally spilled the whole story, the king went absolutely speechless. See, green hair isn't just anybody, she's a literal princess. Now, you and I know elf nobles are usually targeted as slaves because of their looks. But back when this kingdom was built, the very first king stepped in, saved them, and actually gave the elves their own completely autonomous zone. Meaning, the elf territory is basically an independent nation. So our boy is accidentally proposing to foreign royalty right now. The king started sweating bullets. Left with no choice, he dropped a massive 2-year secret. Our main character, he was already locked into an arranged marriage with the king's daughter. Oh, and the duke's daughter was his fiancée too. Green Hair's eyes went wide. total shock system overload. You'd think she would just give up and walk away, right? Wrong. This actually convinced her that he was an absolute catch. If princesses and nobles were drooling over him, she wanted in. Talk about being blindly driven by love. The king had to pull a massive stall tactic. He agreed to the marriage, but slapped on one huge, impossible condition. She had to get her parents' absolute approval first. But green hair? She totally thought this whole wedding was already a done deal. So she just dragged our guy straight to the arena for some hardcore bonding time. But the second they finally walked out, let's be real, the entire room started questioning who this kid really was. How does a 10-year-old brat absolutely crush the nation's strongest sword saint? What's crazy? Every single girl he meets falls for him immediately. His dad? Completely clueless. Sure, they are blood-related, but his genetics are straight-up broken. Hearing this, the commander suddenly remembers something. Back when he asked if our boy was an apostle, the kid's eyes darted away. Hiding a massive secret. Right on cue, the advisor gives the king an idea. Just show our overpowered protagonist the legendary Earth-tier grimoire. That'll reveal the truth instantly. Fast forward 2.5 days, and our main character has been living his absolute best life. Why? Because he's been on non-stop dates with his green-haired fiancée. Since their romance started with combat, she is demanding endless sparring sessions. She literally won't quit until his energy is completely drained. So now he's hiding from her, just as the commander comes looking for him. History repeats itself. Boom. Grabbed by the wrist for the second time. It's actually hilarious. By the time our guy even processes what happened, he's already been dragged right in front of the king. The king hands over that legendary grimoire, casually mentioning it was written by the very first king. Hearing that, our boy eagerly cracks it open. But wait, the moment he looks inside, he is absolutely thrilled by what he reads. He spots some unseen magic, but in doing so, he completely gives his secret away. Here's the catch. Nobody in this entire world can actually read this book, which means our main character is exactly like the first king. He's not from this world. Sure, he just realized there are other reincarnated people out there. But the king has already figured out his massive secret. Why? Because the book is literally written in Japanese. Talk about an unpredictable twist. What does he do now? Panic sets in. Should he confess he's a reincarnated soul? Would he lose his perfect fantasy life? Weighing his options, he decides to go all in. He's taking a massive gamble right here. He bets they won't leak his secret. So, he flat out admits he's a visitor from another world, just like their legendary founder. He even spills the beans on his absurd power. During his baptism at age 5, he received blessings from all 7 gods. He literally became an apostle, and every time he goes to church, he casually chats with the gods about life. Then our guy actually pulls up his status screen. Get ready, you and I are about to see something absolutely broken. The king and advisors are completely speechless. His stats aren't just high, they are exaggerated beyond any logical sense. The list of titles and divine protections is pushing god-tier levels, and nobody is feeling the shock harder than the king himself. After all, just having the apostle title means the entire world should basically be kneeling at his feet. But our boy just sighs. Yeah, he's ridiculously overpowered, but he genuinely has zero ambition for world domination. He just wants to live a super chill, carefree life. He actually bows and apologizes to the king for hiding his true identity. He asks for one favor. Treat him like regular old Cain, not some untouchable divine freak. The king freezes for a second. Then, total mood whiplash. He instantly shifts gears to something completely different. Turns out the green-haired girl just got official permission from her family. The engagement is fully locked in. Now she can finally live out all her domestic fantasies with him. She grabs his hand without hesitation. Love is definitely in the air again. This hilarious interruption completely shatters the intense, heavy vibe in the room. The duke just laughs it off. He tells the king, "Why worry about this crazy kid? At the end of the day, our boy is still himself." That actually gets a laugh out of the king. Seriously, what threat is he? The kid is already juggling 2 adorable fiancées. But our guy wants more out of life than daytime dates and playing tag with a gorgeous elf girl every single night. Today is the day he steps up and becomes a true man. Why? Because it's officially his 12th birthday. He's finally old enough to become an adventurer. He heads straight to the guild to register, trying hard to keep a low profile. He doesn't even put down his noble title on the form. He's blending in, acting like any normal rookie. He has to start from the absolute bottom, time to grind monsters and level up. But looking at his guild card, a super familiar memory flashes through his mind. Oh yeah, the classic fantasy trope is finally happening to him. With everything good to go, you and I know what comes next. He wants an easy starter quest to test the waters. A quick quest is definitely best, especially when you are managing a chaotic 3-girl harem back at home. That lifestyle drains stamina incredibly fast. Just then, a basic-looking bounty catches his eye on the board. The mission: hunting down some classic goblins. This is literally perfect for him. Plus, the reward has zero upper limit, and we all know goblin numbers multiply like crazy. He grabs the bounty without hesitation, but just as he happily heads out, boom, disaster strikes. His green-haired girl comes sprinting at him at top speed. It takes her literally 2 seconds. She tackles him with a massive hug. Turns out she was headed to night training, but overheard he was going on a spontaneous adventure. Green hair completely ditches the training duties, dumping them on Taiku. He just wants a sweet duo date with our main character. Hearing this, our main character completely panics. While green hair is distracted talking, he tries to make a run for it. But obviously, that is pure wishful thinking. Green hair drags him away by force, and Taiku is absolutely powerless to help. And just like that, you and I are watching this epic adventure suddenly turn into a cheesy romantic comedy chase scene. Right at that exact moment, our main character uses his detection magic. He senses a bunch of goblins lurking nearby, and there are a ton of them. But when they finally arrive, they catch the goblins using pure brute strength. They are totally bullying a helpless farmer. Seeing this, our duo decides to jump in and help out. Honestly, their recent dates really built some insane teamwork. Without saying a single word, they split up the tasks perfectly. Our main character stays back to heal the farmer, while green hair charges the goblins. Just a blink of an eye later, 3 goblins hit the dirt. But right as green hair starts showing off, a few more heavy hitters rush out from the bushes. Without hesitating, our main character casts his special buff, the magic of love. A blue light blasts into green hair, and instantly, endless power surges through him. This wild move actually terrifies the goblins. But as for green hair himself, he feels absolutely filled to the brim with our main character's love. Love is crazy. Guys, it was literally just a buffing spell. But green hair feels like he and his darling share one soul. He is totally obsessed. What the heck? Hurry up and run. Absolutely wild. Our main character's magic totally has a brainwashing effect. Green hair is completely trapped in his own little fantasy world. Luckily, a massive swarm of lizard monsters suddenly shows up. Way stronger than goblins. Our main character orders green hair to grab the farmer and escape. Surprisingly, green hair actually listens and obeys. After all, he knows our main character's stamina is off the charts. Watching them leave safely, our main character finally stops holding back. Next second, a massive orb of light completely blinds every single lizard monster there. Then, boom! A freezing spell turns them all into ice blocks. Green hair hasn't even gone far, but that insane spiritual pressure leaves him totally breathless. Now, talk about a huge coincidence. Jinitami just happens to be passing by. Turns out, hunting these exact lizard monsters was their newest quest. But looking at the frozen wreckage, they obviously showed up for absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, our main character casually heads back to the guild. He mentions that he casually wiped out some lizard monsters along the way. But wait, saying that out loud was a massive mistake. You and I both know taking down a lizard monster requires a D rank adventurer, and fighting a whole swarm? That takes a solid C rank. But now, a total G rank rookie just pulled it off. The receptionist girl immediately runs to her boss to report this absolute madness. Hearing this, the manager is absolutely stunned. Our main character gets called into the office for a little chat, because the boss completely believes he hired a stand-in fighter. After all, our main character just registered at the Adventurer Guild today. Plus, let's be real, he is literally a 12-year-old kid. Clearly, the manager's scam radar is pinging hard. He absolutely refuses to believe in our hero's strength. And honestly, it makes total sense. Lately, way too many scammers have been stealing guild money like this. Since the guild master is out today, the manager decides to totally revoke our main character's card. But the very next second, things get incredibly awkward. The guild master actually walks right back in. Seeing this, the manager immediately starts playing the victim. He tells the master that our main character is completely full of lies. But after hearing the whole story, the guild master just laughs. He turns right back to the manager and asks, "How exactly do you know he can't beat those lizards?" And right as he says that, he calls the person waiting at the door to come inside. One look, and our main character is completely stunned. He never expected this. The newcomer is actually his third future wife, green hair. Once the manager finds out these two are actually engaged, he completely loses his mind. Before the poor guy can even process that, the guild master drops another bomb. Our main character is actually a baron. Wait, hold on a second. But what's even more insane? Our hero didn't just single-handedly wipe out 30 massive orcs. He literally saved 2 princesses without taking a single scratch. Oh, and his dad is the frontier count. At this point, the manager is basically having a heart attack. And the absolute craziest part, green hair is actually the guild master's little sister. My god, If you look at our main character's connections, forget building a harem, he practically owns this entire fantasy world already. The manager had absolutely no idea our guy was this insanely overpowered. Looks like he just messed with the absolute wrong guy. Without missing a single beat, he drops to his knees and gives our main character a full kowtow. This is a good old school moment, right here. What the heck? Seriously, it's always just you. Only you. Stick with me. Not only does he cast magic without chanting, the power hits like 2.5 nukes. And you actually think that's his best spell? No. That was literally just beginner level magic. Keep in mind, other little kids need ages just to chant their basic spells. And when they finally cast it, completely useless. Honestly, it's weaker than our hero sneezing. Anyway, when it's time for the sword fighting test, using just 2.5% of his power, he fights the examiner to a complete draw. His classmates are absolutely speechless. They are just kids, and the power gap here is completely insane. The proctor immediately calls it. If these two keep clashing, the other students will just straight up quit, so they finally back down. But the redhead zeroes in on our guy, promising a rematch later. The teacher actually overhears this. Seeing his ridiculous stats, he just tells him to head home early. Honestly, if they let this overpowered cheat code stay, every other student would just give up completely and go back to farming. But before the school even calls, the literal king summons him first. You and I both know word travels fast. His insane exam stunts actually reach the royal palace. The king demands the truth. What kind of absolute hack did he use to nuke the school? Left with no choice, he confesses. The teacher literally told him to use his full power earlier, and they even promised the barrier would hold. He listened, sure, but just to be totally safe, he only used basic magic. If he used an earth-tier spell, the whole district would be ashes. Hearing that, the king completely freezes in pure, unadulterated shock. He never expected this. This crazy kid has already mastered earth-tier magic too. The king instantly realizes just how ridiculously useful this could be. Our boy really wants to show off. But hold on, the king has a second question. Which gate did he use to enter the exam? North Gate or South Gate? He is completely confused, only remembering waking up late that morning. Thankfully, his maid burst into the room. If he was late for his own entrance exam, she would never forgive herself, but he did not panic at all. He just ran to the corner. Bam. One teleportation spell later, he was at school. He made it, but went through the South Gate. From there, he just walked right into the testing arena. And that is exactly when it hits him. The South Gate is for commoners. North is the noble VIP lane. No wonder he missed his girls. Because of this mix-up, the girls were furious, and the purple-haired girl's dad caught major heat. Turns out, the principal reported yesterday's total chaos straight to him. A walking cheat code had arrived. Not only did he crush the written test in 2.5 minutes, but his insane sword skills. He tied with the proctor and blew a massive hole in the school. The Duke instantly knows who. Plot armor at its finest, right? So the Duke just tells the principal to post the actual scores. But thinking about those ridiculous repair fees, the Duke actually starts chuckling. He is dying to know something. What will the Prime Minister's face look like seeing that bill? And yeah, the old man is stressed. Stressed or not, our boy still has to pay up. Luckily, he is absolutely loaded with cash anyway. Plus, today is results day. And surprise, surprise, he secures the absolute top rank in the entire school. Rank 1, obviously. Right then, the purple-haired girl walks over, mentioning the princess didn't show up today, but she left a message. If he skips the entrance ceremony, he is getting punished with formal kneeling. Yep, straight up kneeling on the floor. Flash forward, and the massive entrance ceremony is finally kicking off. He spots his parents waiting in the stands, right alongside his future wives. They all exchange quick greetings. The girls finally notice he is rocking the official uniform today. And in that one single split second, their souls basically leave their bodies. His damn gentle smile has them completely and utterly head over heels. This whole two-girl, one-guy dynamic, it instantly triggers pure, unfiltered rage from every single guy in the academy. The girls, though, they are totally swooning. But as the #1 freshman, he has a job to do. He has to give the official representative speech. He steps up, delivering an absolutely hype and inspiring message. The crowd erupts into massive applause. Total success. But then, out of nowhere, the king takes the stage. Listen, we all know he is here for our boy, probably terrified of whatever insane stunt happens next. The king literally asks everyone to tolerate him, but honestly, every single word drips with terrifying killing intent. He is directly targeting our main character. Just like that, a perfectly good speech turns into a pure joke. With the opening ceremony finally over, his very first class in this crazy new world officially begins right now. Alright, we are back. The homeroom teacher is acting as proctor, making him use that authority. Everyone has to pick their classes. And right now, his seat is the absolute center of attention. His two fiancées are totally understanding. He picks the sword and magic adventuring class, while the princess goes for domestic affairs. She is doing this to help him run his territory later on. The other girl? She picks a business course, also just for him. Honestly, what more could a guy ask for? They finish up and step out of class, and immediately spot that trio of bullies from before. They are picking on a cat girl, led by that spoiled rich kid. Our main character knows this guy, a chubby noble who absolutely hates that a commoner made it into the elite class. If the cat girl drops out, one of his lackeys gets her spot. Classic bully logic right there. Not on his watch. He steps right in to shut this down. The moment they see him, they completely freeze in terror. But they just cannot wrap their heads around it. He is a noble. Why help a commoner? Well, to him, everyone is equal. Plus, this cat girl actually works for his family. The chubby kid knows he cannot touch our guy, so if he threatens to have his dad destroy her family, big mistake. The two girls appear right behind them, trying to flex daddy money here. He just doomed his own dad. A second later, the trio is practically begging for mercy. They run away looking totally ridiculous. He stays behind to comfort the girl, telling her if she ever has trouble in school, just come find him. She is instantly smitten, but his fiancés are watching this little bonding moment. And yeah, the jealousy is super real. This is just too funny, but plot twist, all three girls end up getting along perfectly, forming some kind of secret alliance. Right then, a strange laugh echoes in his ear. A voice tells him he is pretty interesting, and guides him straight to the library. He leaves the girls behind, but the moment he pushes that door open, it is a whole different space. Definitely not the library anymore. A flash of light, and he is teleported inside. Some mysterious guy is casually pouring coffee. Wait, this is a fantasy world. Where did he get coffee? While he stands there completely confused, the guy reveals himself. It is the very first king of this world. Now, here's where you and I get a massive twist. His reincarnation was not random. 300 years ago, his own parents were actually summoned here too, trying to stop a war and get home. They fought like absolute legends. Teaming up with this king, they managed to defeat and seal away the evil god. But the battle cost them their lives. And now, that monster seal is finally starting to break apart. Since gods cannot directly mess with the human realm, they had to pull him into this world too, hoping he finishes what his parents started. You would think his overpowered stats would make crushing this villain super easy. But get this, he just found out someone else actually reincarnated here way before he ever did. That guy became a literal god. He is actually the one who created this entire world. The first king is here because that main god sent him. His mission? Train our guy for the upcoming fight. Since that god cannot interfere directly anymore, there is only one real option left. Saving the world falls completely on him. But honestly, our guy thinks he is already the absolute peak. The king just smiles at that. He pulls out a cookie and tells him to try and take it. He goes for it, but grabs absolutely nothing, and it gets even more embarrassing. He suddenly finds a sword right at his throat. Before he can even react, a teleportation beam hits him, sent straight out to the ocean. The brutal trial has officially started, and only if he actually survives it will he get the truth about his parents. Yeah, that is a lot easier said than done. He is sitting at level 300 right now. The king wants him at 600, because that is the only way to even stand a chance against that evil god. His grinding spot, this massive forest. His heart is pounding now. He is panicking, but mostly about his girls back home. If he has gone too long, they will definitely worry. The king already thought of that. He tells him to chill 1 year in here is just a single day out there. And with that, the king just teleports away, leaving him totally stranded. Classic. All right, you and I are jumping right into the madness. Saving the world? That could wait. Just thinking about his furious wife back home made him shiver. Why? Because this forest was absolutely crawling with monsters. But hey, silver lining. Massive experience points gained. In his world, he was only gone for 2.5 days. But exactly as he guessed, his fiancées were completely freaking out at his house. The maid confirmed he had been missing for 48 hours. Zimao thought he was kidnapped. Or worse. The princess told Zimao to chill. He was the absolute ceiling of overpowered. So they decided to wait for him. Seriously, best fiancés ever, right? Meanwhile, our main character was hitting his absolute breaking point. Even though his magic power was completely off the charts, but the mental exhaustion, totally crushing him. Right now, taking a nap was a straight-up luxury. Then, he almost collapsed. A sudden scream pierced the air. Thinking it was a new monster, he forced himself up, but moving closer, he saw it. A white wolf, and it was bleeding out. Seeing the creature dying, he raised his heavy sword to end its suffering. But mid-swing, he completely froze. Flashbacks from his past life flooded his mind. He only got reincarnated because he tried to save someone. Now, exact opposite, he actually wanted to kill it. Shaking his head, he knelt down to heal it. His mana was practically zero, but he scraped together whatever was left. However, that final healing spell caused him to collapse. One more monster meant game over. But wait for it. The injured white wolf actually stood guard over him. Any monster that stepped up, the wolf viciously tore them apart. Absolutely wild. This thing was a literal demon king. Once he woke up, it playfully pounced. In just 2.5 minutes, this guy and a wolf became total best friends. They teamed up to grind levels together, and he even named the beast Xiaobai. Xiaobai gave him a reason to survive. 2.5 years later, he reached the mansion. He was a lot older now. The master immediately spotted Xiaobai by his side. That wasn't just a wolf, that was the legendary Fenrir, a literal divine beast. The master suggested a formal contract. That way, he could summon Xiaobai absolutely anywhere. The contract worked flawlessly. But getting back to the mansion didn't mean vacation time. Now, here's where you and I need to pay attention. Round 2 against Doran. Except, the second he charged in, Doran literally knocked him out cold. One punch. He woke up inside Doran's house, right as the guy's wife finished cooking dinner. Staring at that massive feast, he actually started crying like a baby. I mean, he had been surviving on wild mushrooms for 4 years. She told him to stay. Forever, basically. Honestly, that sounds like a recipe for a brand new harem. Days turned into 2.5 months of brutal training. His progress was undeniably insane. From getting one shot to actually holding his ground. Another 2.5 years vanished like nothing. Then it happened. He finally defeated Doran. The master kept his original promise today. He revealed the dark truth about his parents. Originally, this world had 8 gods. Now there are only 7. The missing game god was actually the evil Yama. Yama treated humanity like a twisted death game. So he was banished from heaven. That's exactly why their world banned all entertainment. They were trying to protect everyone. The remaining gods summoned 3 heroes from Earth. The master was one of them. The other 2. His own parents. Their teamwork during the final battle was flawless. But Yama was completely untouchable. To give the master an opening, his parents sacrificed themselves. That gave the first master a perfect opening. The evil god was sealed, but our hero's parents tragically died in that exact battle. So yeah, that is the real reason he felt abandoned growing up. Hearing this, he completely breaks down at their graves. He vows to destroy the evil god himself. He wants pure payback. But seeing him this broken, the first master offers zero comfort. Instead, he holds up a cookie. Our boy gets the hint instantly. In a flash, he snatches that cookie right out of his hand. Nailed it. The old master looks seriously proud. After a quick thank you, he is rushing to finally head home. But wait, the first master stops him again. Because if he goes back looking like this, the girls will think he is a monster. With a quick wave, he turns our guy right back into a little kid. Before he leaves, Doran even hands over his trusted companion. He gives them one last thank you. Then, one teleportation spell later, he is right back home. Seeing him back, the girls absolutely lose their minds with joy. But his headmaid definitely has the biggest reaction. After all, she practically raised this kid from birth. After a bunch of quick apologies, the girls bring out some custom-made cookies just for him. Ah, welcome back. But that is just the public reaction. In private, these two flip a massive switch. Total cows. Alright, you and I need to talk about how crazy overpowered this kid is. Monsters literally cannot survive a single hit. The one who learned this the hard way. An invincible double S-class dragon. Our guy just casually waves his hand and slices that dragon clean in half. Still not satisfied, he casually charges up a little fireball. As it shoots into the sky, he unleashes a massive widespread attack. And guess what? The city guards see everything. They instantly think the Demon King is back. One guard literally falls flat on his butt in pure terror. He scrambles up and rips the alarm. Panic floods the entire town. And man, history really does repeat itself. Led by his own dad, the whole army charges straight toward our guy. But wait, he already teleported away. By the time the troops get there, nothing but empty air. So why did he just drop a nuke out of nowhere? The reason is actually hilarious. He tells the king he got kidnapped to train in another dimension. The king is completely lost. The first master died 300 years ago. He assumes our boy just saw a ghost. But our hero is prepared. He pulls out the parting gift he received. Instantly, the king's jaw drops to the floor. He recognizes it. It is the first master's actual weapon. That is way too much information. The king's brain practically short-circuits. But when he hears the kid trained for 5 years, reality hits him like a truck. Because that means he is officially 2 years older than his daughter again. Hilarious. Anyway, he still has a strict deadline to clear out a bandit camp. Luckily, it is a total cakewalk. When he meets up with his future brother-in-law, he realizes the guy was just stressing because he was missing. All that pent-up energy was ready to explode. Honestly, just thinking about it is kind of terrifying. So after grabbing the quest, he doesn't waste a single second. He immediately heads straight into the forest. And the absolute fastest way to track someone down? Get the high ground. Taking to the sky is definitely the best play. 2.5 seconds later, he locks onto the bandit crew's trail. Without hesitating, he swoops right in. But here is the wild part: the people getting robbed are actually his old friends, not just Jaime. Even the cat girl's dad is there. But there is zero time for a happy reunion. He realizes she is hurt badly. In a flash, he hits her with a high-level healing spell. The bandits are just watching this happen. They outnumber him, and honestly, they just see a random kid. They start laughing straight in his face. But stick with me, they are going to regret that real soon. He triggers a body enhancement skill and blurs right past them. A few dozen grunts? Please. He does not even draw his sword. He is barely using 2.5% of his actual power. One blink, and every single bandit is laid out flat at his feet. What an absolute joke. When his friends finally realize he is just here doing a basic main quest, they are completely speechless. Alright, you and I know only B-rank adventurers can take bandit quests. But to them, our guy just joined the guild. Yet, under their shocked gazes, he pulls out a sparkling gold card. The girls instantly got it. He was already max rank. In their eyes, this was pure madness. But then again, his overpowered nature was basically built in, so they quickly accepted it. While transporting the bandits, they found out he was actually a baron now. Ginny instantly lost her mind. To Jaime, he was practically a walking gold mine. Hearing this completely terrified the poor kid. Next second, he speeds off in the carriage. He needed to escape those two and submit his quest. But you can't run forever. Right after turning in his quest, he realized those two had totally followed him. And guess who else showed up? The exact same thugs from before. Classic history repeating itself. Since our boy wrecked them a few years back, their mental trauma was still incredibly fresh. So seeing him, it was like staring at their worst nightmare. Thankfully, Red Hair stepped in and shut down the whole circus. Seeing Red Hair, our guy quickly walked over to say hi. But nobody expected this twist. Red Hair was actually Ginny's brother. Finding out your friend is siblings with another friend? Wild. He was stunned. This social web was just way too complicated. After catching up, Red Hair immediately demanded a celebration party. Drinks were poured and the night flew right by. Then, the girls pulled out those special bags our guy gifted them back when they split up. Red Hair's wife instantly fell in love. You and I both know why it holds a whole mansion. Fueled by liquid courage, she didn't even hesitate. She practically begged him to make one for her too. Our guy was definitely sweating now. But the very next second, the blue-haired girl hugged him and passed out. You'd think Red Hair would be furious, right? Nope, not even a little bit. He was totally used to it. First, the kid is literally a child. Second, his wife's alcohol tolerance is awful. Then, an idea struck him. He remembered he had school tomorrow. 5 days off was fine, but skipping again? That would be game over. Listen, he's a duke and a max-rank adventurer now. Sitting in a classroom is kind of a massive downgrade. Plus, he'd stick out like a sore thumb. That stung. But hey, showing off at school sounded pretty fun. He insisted he wanted to study hard. Jaime thought this was incredibly noble and immediately went in for a hug. That absolutely terrified him, and he bolted. Red Hair watched this whole thing unfold. The kid had it too easy. He really wanted to help the guy out. Right on cue, the receptionist walked over with some news. Turns out, the adventurer booked to teach at the academy got locked up for illegal gambling. Oops. They needed a substitute fast. This gave Red Hair a brilliant idea. The very next day, during magic class, because his stats were just too crazy, the academy's ultimate defense barrier shattered from his basic magic. The teacher straight up banned him from using spells on campus. But to make up for those credits, they just gave him a perfect score. This confirmed exactly what Red Hair suspected: our boy was totally isolated. To fix this, Red Hair put his master plan into action. When adventuring class rolled around, his entire squad showed up as the substitute teachers, their one and only goal for doing this: to let everyone know how insanely strong he is. Any real adventurer has an official guild card, right? So, Red Hair told the class to pull them out, hoping our guy would flex on everyone. When he didn't move a muscle, Red Hair whispered at him to hurry up. Our boy was practically crying. At this age, these kids were all brand new rookies. If he flashed that insane gold card, the whole room would absolutely freak out. So, he just lied and said he forgot it. Red Hair had to drop it, but they weren't backing down that easily. Plan B was officially a go. The new strategy put him dead last in the combat drill. Once these kids saw the teacher's true power and then watched our guy fight them at full strength, well, his classmates would instantly realize he was a legend. But as you and I know, reality hits different. Just wrecking the rest of the class took up most of the period, and right when his turn finally came, the tension was unreal. But then the bell rang. The teacher waved her hand, shutting the whole duel down immediately. All right, you and I know free time should be relaxing. But for our main character, absolute nightmare. Why? Because future combat classes are permanently cancelled. Since the Academy blew all its funds repairing the exploded outer wall, they have zero budget left to hire adventurer instructors. Seeing no hope, our guy heads straight into the forest that very night. Monsters are literally everywhere out here. Not only that, but deep inside, a massive double S-tier wyvern is waiting. But then next second, boom. Our guy absolutely destroys it. Even after that, he is still fuming. He casually forms a fireball and starts blindly nuking the entire forest with zero hesitation. Total destruction. He is completely losing his mind right now, just wildly blasting everything in sight to vent his frustration. Pure madness. Die, die, die. But right when his father rushes over, dead silence. Then, a handkerchief on the ground with their family crest catches his eye. Obviously, his beloved son caused this mess. Next day, he is busted. The king calls him in. After bringing up the monster incident, the king asks if our apostle of God received any divine revelation. Our guy has no idea what to say. He cannot exactly admit he caused it, but his nervous face. The king instantly knows he is hiding something. After some pressure, our main character finally spills the truth. But you and I know the truth. His tantrum actually resurrected the real demon lord. Holy crap. Just how ridiculously overpowered is this kid? While other students use summoning magic to call out cute little cats and dogs, our guy's summoning circle suddenly erupts with massive pressure. The terrifying aura literally makes the teacher shiver. He desperately yells to stop it. Too late. Nobody saw this coming. He actually summons an otherworldly demon lord. The boss looks disgusted. Some weakling really dared to summon him? Hearing it is a demon lord, our main character panics. He tosses a flashbang to blind everyone in the room. As long as he moves fast enough, nobody will see a thing. But remember, the teacher just said, no matter how crazy the beast is, it is totally harmless without a contract. He heard that, sure. But even he did not realize his own power levels were this absurd. Before he can react, the demon lord uses appraisal magic to check his stats screen. One look, and the boss is completely shook. He marches over aggressively, radiating a heavy, terrifying pressure, then drops to his knees. Master, as long as our guy gives the word, even if it means destroying the entire country, the demon lord will command all his forces to make it happen. Our guy has zero interest in destroying nations, but he figures a contract will finally make him disappear. Left with no other choice, he forms the contract. Right after the demon vanishes, the teacher says he saw a shadowy figure claiming to be a demon lord. Our guy immediately starts smooth talking. He lies, saying it was just a low-tier minion and no contract was made. Luckily, the teacher is pretty gullible. He completely buys the nonsense. But right when our main character thinks he is safe, the teacher reports everything straight to the king. The king demands to know what on earth he summoned. Hearing it was a demon, the king completely loses his cool. After all, everyone already knows how insanely strong he is. So he confesses the truth about summoning the actual demon lord. This completely terrifies his future father-in-law. Keep in mind, a demon lord can effortlessly wipe out a country. But our guy tells them to chill. Why? Because the demon boss is basically his lackey now. The teacher is shocked. How much mana does that even take? Taming it like a pet. At least the king is used to it. He knows our guy is broken. But since he recently trained with the original founder, the king gets super curious about his current stats, warning the teacher to keep this top secret. He orders our main character to open his status screen. But nobody could predict this. They are hit with a double dose of pure shock. Wait, is this a gift for his parents? Oh man, this is wild. Absolutely legendary. We are about to see the craziest reaction. While the whole room stands dumbfounded, the king is the most shocked of all. The king is sweating bullets, terrified our main character might casually wipe this country off the map. Actually, not just the country. With power like his, shattering the entire planet would be an absolute breeze. The king knows our guy just wants to be a carefree goofball, but better safe than sorry, right? If the hero wants the throne, he hand it over. To keep him happy, he literally promotes him to Viscount. But wait, there is more. He tells him to pick absolutely any town as his personal territory. Plus, an early engagement to the princess. Before our boy can even process this, the demon lord just walks away. Why fight when you can just chill? But while he is territory shopping, Conan bursts into the room. He drops some terrible news. Total chaos in the monster forest. The creature population is multiplying insanely fast. Adventurers are getting ambushed left and right. It is exactly like the massive monster wave from 10 years ago. Ignore it, and this whole region is doomed. Hearing this, our hero heads straight into the woods to investigate. But the second he steps foot inside, he feels eyes burning into the back of his head. The intel wasn't joking about the spawn rate either. A new mushroom monster pops up every 2.5 seconds. This could literally go on forever. So what does he do? Just casually summons the Demon Lord. Figured the guy might know something. But get this, the Demon Lord has been summoned 6 times today. He is absolutely furious, until he sees our hero's face. Yeah, the anger vanishes instantly. While learning why he was called, the Demon Lord suddenly senses this insanely heavy, terrifying aura. It feels demonic, but not quite. Super unsettling. Now tracking magic is not really his strong suit, so he delegates. He summons one of his own minions, an old man who is an absolute master at scouting. The guy immediately scans our overpowered hero. And the second he realizes this kid is basically a conquering god, he drops right to his knees and aggressively grovels. Then, the old guy properly introduces himself. He might be old, but his recon skills are legendary among demons. And right as he finishes speaking, a massive swarm of tiny bugs scatters. Give it 2.5 minutes, and they will bring back the intel. But suddenly, the forest starts shaking again. High-level monsters are actually crashing the party. Our guy does not even blink. In literally a fraction of a second, he completely wipes out every single wyvern. Seeing this absurd power up close, the old man is absolutely stunned into a literal meme face. Thank goodness they aren't enemies. Because if they actually threw down right now, the old guy's strength wouldn't even equal 2.5% of his power. Anyway, about those monsters. Now, you and I can see where this is going. Things are getting critical. He heads back to the guild. Right after he leaves, the scout bugs return. Someone deep inside the woods is practically screaming death threats. But seriously, of all the people to threaten, you picked the literal demon lord of another world. He immediately marches off to investigate. But the very next second, the tree line absolutely explodes. A massive horde of monsters does not just appear, they launch a full-scale invasion. Meanwhile, back in town, he casually strolls into the guild and dumps a giant pile of monster corpses, scaring everyone half to death. Keep in mind, these are all S-rank beasts. But there is no time to fanboy over his crazy stats. The city alarm bells start ringing like crazy. This is a real-deal monster invasion. The Demon Lord regroups with him. He tells the red-haired squad to hold the front lines. Orders given. Our duo heads straight back to the forest. Why not just use teleportation magic? Simple, he wants to keep a low profile. And as his loyal sidekick, he forces the Demon Lord to lay low too. Meanwhile, the poor old man was left completely alone. He is fighting for his life out there. Wyverns are spawning endlessly, but not a single one can touch him. He refuses to fall behind our overpowered hero. But right as he says that, a wyvern sneaks up from behind. Talk about perfect timing. Our guy drops in and just casually tosses out some unknown, absurdly strong magic. It instantly wipes the entire area clean. But unless they crush the source, they are just swatting flies. The Demon Lord points them dead center. The true mastermind is hiding deep inside the woods, and that mastermind, it is none other than the final boss, the evil god dragon. Stick with me here. This is easily the most overpowered hero ever. His casual strikes rival gods, but the craziest part? Alright, you and I know the drill. Any enemy? Done in one spell. His power is just absurd. He basically split the entire earth right down the middle. And get this, even the Demon Lord was literally begging to be his fangirl. But here's the twist. The actual true Demon Lord turns out to be the evil god Yalong, banished from heaven. With his seal broken, the whole world is in massive danger. The literal second he got free, he unleashed a massive monster tide. Just endless waves of creatures attacking the towns. Seeing the endless monsters, our guy decides to cut the head off the snake. Time to hunt the evil god. He wants to stop this at the source. So, they split up. The fangirl Demon Lord stays behind to hold the fort. Wanting to flex a bit for her crush, she instantly summons her 4 heavenly kings. But man, this summon just completely backfired. These big bads thought they were here to destroy the world. Nope, it was the exact opposite of what they expected. She literally ordered them to save the world. Before they could even process that shock, a legendary old master showed up too. Now the heavenly kings are just standing there, completely lost. Turns out, both the old man and their boss were hired. Hired by a demigod, to be exact. They were still super confused, but their main job right now? Hold the front line. Even though they had no idea what was happening. You don't become a heavenly king by being weak. These guys are tanks. With the Demon Lord squad stepping in, 97.5% of that monster tide was absolutely crushed, just wiped out. As for the last 2.5%, the red-haired guy's crew easily handled it. But just as they thought it was too easy, Red Hair spots someone flying up in the sky. The blue-haired guy totally thinks he's joking. I mean, come on, no normal person can just walk on thin air. But taking a closer look, they were actually up there obliterating monsters. Now, you and I know what this means. These overpowered fighters were allies. Knowing our broken main character was in the forest, it all clicked. Meanwhile, our hero finally tracked down the mastermind behind the chaos. Since the evil god hadn't gotten his full strength back yet, he had to borrow a black dragon's body to shoot energy beams. At first glance, it looked like a basic magic attack. But the second he saw that dragon breath turn everything to stone, yeah, even our guy wasn't crazy enough to tank that. So he dodges, throws up his hand, and blasts his absolute best fire spell right back. A direct hit on the evil god. Now keep in mind, this is the strongest spell a normal person can learn here. But an evil god is still a god. Normal magic didn't leave a single scratch. So, our hero decides to crank it up and drop an insane earth tier spell instead. But the boss wasn't giving him an inch. He fully knew that casting super magic like that takes way too long to charge. Left with zero options, he had to pull back and fight on the run. And right at this critical moment, he suddenly remembered he had two divine pets sitting in his inventory. He summons them out and orders them to strike the evil god. But let's be real, based purely on size, his pets were way out of their league. Bam! One tail swipe and Little White is sent flying straight into a wall, and this boss definitely knows how to secure a kill. Just as the fatal blow came down, the silver dragon jumped in and blocked it. You know the golden rule, sacrifice a teammate for infinite mana. Watching that, our guy completely loses it. His inner power explodes. After slapping the energy wave away, something absolutely wild happens. That mythical Leviathan energy inside him wakes up, and his whole body gets swallowed by this blinding golden light. The next second, pure, explosive power. And get this, the evil god actually broke the legendary anime rule of losing beam struggles from the left side. That massive beam shot straight into the sky, terrifying everyone miles away. Some people actually thought a true god had descended. Meanwhile, our hero was still locked in this insane standoff. His two pets finally had enough and grabbed his pant leg. Hearing the blast, the Demon Lord and the Old Master rushed over. They fully expected to see whatever monster caused this mess, but they found absolutely nothing, because all that was left in front of them was an endless, glowing trench of pure fire. Clearly, this was just the aftermath of our guy's ultimate attack. Honestly, if they don't stop him soon, he might just nuke the whole world himself. Luckily, he finally snapped out of it. It was only then he realized the evil god was already completely turned to dust. And that's a wrap. The monsters, free from mind control, wandered back into the forest, which means one thing for us. The world was officially saved. But while some celebrated, others were stressing hard. After all, the king was completely clueless about all this. Even so, you can't exactly hide a giant laser beam shooting into outer space. Everyone and their mother saw it. Even the folks sitting comfortably in the capital thought a divine being had arrived. Because let's face it, in this entire world, the only person capable of dropping that kind of magical nuke is our main guy. So now, the king demands an explanation. Hearing our main character casually drop earth-tier magic and summon the Demon Lord's crew, the king completely panicked. Exhausted, the king tried handing over the throne early since our guy was marrying his daughter anyway. The others immediately vetoed that. So instead, he rewarded our world saver with his very own territory, while publicly announcing his engagement to all three girls. But when you and I see him arrive, total scam. Turns out, this new land was completely overrun by rogue adventurers. For our overpowered hero though, barely a warm-up, he just casually conjured up a few massive fireballs. Under 2 minutes later, the entire faction was wiped out, earning him the terrifying title Silver Demon. Flexing that hard paints a massive target. Suddenly, every underground guild wanted him dead. Big mistake. He slaughtered them all instead. But wait, do you and I think his absolute madness stopped there? Absolutely not. He used magic to build a private estate way more luxurious than the actual royal palace. Ha ha ha. Alright, fair enough. You might be saying, great video. I will drop a like next time. No, wait, please do not go. You are probably thinking, good thing I did not subscribe. I am clicking off right now. Will we ever meet again? If we do, you better be happy, okay? Wait, you have to drop a like. You have to subscribe. Okay, just swipe to the next video. It is fine if the algorithm buries me. Give your likes to someone else. Viewer, How am I supposed to live without your algorithm boost? Viewer, take me with you? Ah,